Hi, today I'm going to look at Behringer's RD-8 and compare it against the Roland TR8 as well as the Roland TR808 in the cloud. So that's three 808s. I don't have a real 808, which would be brilliant if I did. If I did, I wouldn't be buying these. But I don't think many of us do have TR808s lying around. So the options for us are really RD8, TR8 or the TR8S, and of course the Roland TR09. I don't have the TR08. That was the point in buying the TR8 to get the 808 sounds. Thought they'd be identical, but the 909, the 09 and the TR8 don't sound the same. Although the 09 and the cloud were very, very similar, very much of a muchness. So I can't compare sounds with the TR08 obviously, but form factor, build quality I can, and particularly size and output. So I'll be mentioning the TR08, but I don't have one. I can't buy every drum machine that comes on the market, but I'd still like to have the classic sounds, along with the ease of use of programming something like this, or like this, or like the cloud. So I thought I'd kick off with the kicks. What I've done is I've turned the decay up so they're similar, and I've turned the tone knob down and I've tuned them all so they're the same. And you can hear sounds straight away that are different, can't you? The TR8 sounds a bit smoother. There's sort of a springy boinginess in the RD8 and in the cloud. Let's listen to the RD8 again. And another major difference we can hear is there's still a bit of a click, a bit of an attack on the cloud version. And with then no attack on it at all, or no tone as this knob is called, the RD8 does sound much sort of smoother, doesn't it? So let's play with this attack. So they're starting to pull together a little bit more now. But the cloud's definitely got much more of that sort of initial transient. Let's turn these up. Let's turn the RD8 up and the TR8 up and see what they sound like. Differences, but you know, if you heard any of them, I think you'd think they were a TR808, wouldn't you? The cloud version can also add some gain, gets it a lot louder, but dirtier as well. So that's a nice little effect you got on that. Tuning wise, the RD8 over to the TR8. TR8's going a lot lower. And then on the cloud version, so cloud goes lowest, followed by the TR8, followed by the RD8. And let's go to the highest tuning. So starting with the RD8 again. Weird. It's a lot higher on the 8, isn't it? On the RD8, sorry. Let's try the TR8. I thought I'd twisted the wrong knob there. And the cloud again. Cloud and the R8, sorry, the TR8 are similar. The RD8 goes so much higher, doesn't it? Okay, let's put the tune in sort of centralish, and let's just turn the decay down, keep the tone up, and just let's hear what it sounds like, I don't know, sort of as a dance track. And let's just add a bit more decay to those again, because the kick's the big one, isn't it? The RD8 sounds rougher. And although it doesn't actually pitch as low, I think it might be my favourite, you know. Okay, let's take a look at the snares then. I've taken the tone down and the snappy down on them all. So it's called tune on the R8 and tone and snappy on the cloud. So here we go with the RD8, TR8 and the cloud. RD8 sounds similar to the cloud. TR8 sounds a little bit lighter. And the cloud's actually got a bit more oomph, hasn't it? Maybe a bit lower, a bit more of a solid woody sound to it. Let's turn up the tone. RD8 sounds a bit more like the cloud. Cloud sounds really sort of, say, sharp, but really precise. Let's add some snappy to that then. Clearly the cloud is brighter. The RD8 sounds a little snappier. That's probably the wrong word to use. It's got a much more sort of precise envelope. Similar to the cloud actually. It's the R8, the TR8's that. Sounds a little different. Okay, so let's have a little. Nice. Much harder to do that on this because there's no way of just playing the sounds. You've got to trigger them, so. Sounds like the kick drum on that is moving lower, isn't it? It's got more of a pitch envelope to it. But, you know, if you heard any of them in the track, they sound like an 808, don't they? Okay, let's quickly go through the toms and the rest of them. I think the bass and the snare are really important, as are the hats. I just say that, it's all important, isn't it? But let's just go through the toms quickly. Just check the cloud there, because in case it was playing the conga or something, but it's a much more woody tone. Moving on to the mid tom. Again, more woody on the cloud. High tom. Really strange though, cloud does sound a lot different, doesn't it? And the RD8 sounds almost like a conga. They've all got that sort of noisy background, but really weird that they're all so different. I don't know how, if I had 3 different TR808s in front of me, how different they'd all sound. Let's try the toms then on the highest pitch. It's crazy, this cloud version. It's like a drunk 808, the cloud one, isn't it? Easy enough to flick onto the congas with the RD8, obviously. Exactly what you would with the TR808. And it's the same with the cloud. Although completely different again. More difficult to do this on the TR8. To change it to the congas, go to Instrument Select. Here we've got 808, 909, and the second version of an 808, that's pink. And then we move on to, I think that's 606 and the 707s or 7X7s, and I think that's another variation on the 808. So we go low tom, we want the second, mid tom, and now we should have congas. Again, cloud's completely crazy, isn't it? Be nice if that actually reached the slightly higher tone to give it a musical feel, but like that does, spot on. And that one. Okay, up next, the Claves and the Rimshot. So again, it's a little bit more difficult on the TR8 because it's got a lot of kits in it, but we go to Instrument Select, Rimshot. Next instrument is this one, so Moving on to the hand clap. On the RD8, you've got on the offset button, it's if you move it to the left, you get mainly... Oh, that was weird. I read somewhere else online, someone had sort of commented that the clap didn't come in until a few claps. Anyway, there's a reverb style effect in there, isn't there? And then you get more offset and you get a brighter sound as you turn this up. And if you dial that to just before 12, it sounds a bit like the TR8. TR8's a bit brighter than the 3, but again, they all sound like 808 hand claps. I'm not expecting them all to sound identical, but I don't expect them to sound completely different, but it's the character that's important. Okay, so on to the famous cowbell. It's on the ride symbol on the TR8, because the TR8 doesn't have a ride. Increase the decay. A little bit of a longer envelope on the cloud. But on the TR8 you can adjust the decay. Again, sound like an 808. Onto the hats then. First thing I've noticed here is the cloud ones are really quiet for some reason. I mean, you can turn them up in your door, but they are on full there. I suppose we could go into the game, but then that adds some distortion. Softer sounding open high, isn't that, on the cloud? The open high on the TR8. It's the first sound I've come to where I've gone, do you know what, that's just not right. Or you can tune it and change the decay, but I don't know, it sounds really harsh to me. The tone on the Behringer RD-8 sounds a little bit like it's a high-pass filter or something. And on the cloud you can only adjust the decay. Really annoying actually on the RD8 that you can't just play the sounds. Maybe in a future update you can do that. Maybe you can do it, but the manual's not out yet, so I've no idea if you can do it. If they can't make it playable like this. And again on this one. Just doing that shows the hi-hats to be awful, I think. Can't do anything like that. You have to program it to get a rhythm. Okay, so we've been through all the sounds, and the only one that really annoys me is the hi-hats on the TR8. The big thing this has got going for it, from my point of view, are the separate outs on the back. The TR8's got 2 sets of stereo outputs, but it's nowhere near as flexible as having all the separate outs on that. And of course, that doesn't count for the cloud. It's a bit of software, and I'm testing it because, you know, if you want 808 sounds, that's an option for you. The downside of owning an RD8, of course, which is one of the bonuses of the RD8, is that it is analog circuitry. So the TR8 is less likely to go wrong than an RD8, in my opinion. and that's because I've got lots of analog synths, and you know, you hit different voices go on them, or various things happen. I don't have many problems, but I imagine you're going to get more issues with an RD8 over the years than you would with a TR8. But compare that with a 40-year-old 808, well, you know. So do we keep the RD8 or do we get a used TR8? I've answered that myself, I think. These are lovely little instruments, but I can't get my head around these tiny outputs. And in the studio, these small outputs, when you've got things wired up, can be really, really annoying. And I can imagine getting rid of the TR09 and buying Behringer's 909 clone. But we'll see. There's only so much cash in the bank, isn't there? But that was the reason why I got the TR8, because I did think I can get both drum machines, both sets of classic sounds in the one machine. But it's not quite doing it for me, and I don't really know why. I think it's just because some of the sounds aren't quite up to scratch. Whether I'd ever notice in a mix, I'm not sure. But I don't use these necessarily for mixing. I use these for messing about, getting ideas up really quickly. But I do like to be able to throw things through different effects units. So yeah, RD8's the winner for me. This has 256 internal patterns, although I can't use them yet. I don't know how to access them. This has only got 16. This does have reverb and delay in there, and this has got the filter effects and the wave designer. But once the manual comes out and I can learn how to use it fully, I might do a walkthrough or two on this. So I hope that was of some use to somebody somewhere, and I'll see you next time.